I would like to inform you Miss Smith is not in office. If you had her for reading, you knew that Miss Smith is not in office. I'm the only one in office for math. So if you are here, very likely we are going over 5.03 quiz. If you're here, keep joining. We will go over 5.03 quiz. We will pick from question 3, version 2, and solve it all the way till question 5. Ellie, I know you joined Open Office, but I was not sure what you joined Open Office for. If you think I'm going over something that you didn't want me to, let me know, Ellie, because tomorrow's Open Office is more open. I can go over what you want me to go over. Friday Open Office is open, no scheduled thing. Taylor is in 5.03 quiz. Taylor, let's move on to question 3. We did 1, 2, question 3, part 1. Now we do question 3, version 2. Okay. Link to the Nearpod is in the chat. If you would also like to solve along with me, I will be able to see your work and provide you with feedback. Okay. Join Nearpod. In this way, I'm going to be able to see your work and I'm going to be able to provide you with feedback. So let's get started. The balcony of an apartment is 4 feet by 7 feet. Here's a little piece of information for us. The balcony of an apartment is 4 feet by 7 feet. On a scale drawing, Xavier, ELA teacher is not here. There is no breakout room. ELA teacher is absent. Okay, Xavier? If you have questions for ELA teacher, something that I can answer you, feel free to let me know. From my understanding, Miss Smith is going to be out for a bit. I am also your same part teacher, and there's a lot of things I can help you with. And feel free to let me know. I can help you out, Xavier. Right? So ELA teacher is out. You might not be able to see her today, tomorrow. Isabella, you send me an email for session ID. Isabella, remember I'm teaching live classes back on back all this time, even right now. So I'm going to look at your email. I'm going to respond back. And Isabella, I was telling you, session ID you don't fill out. If you see, notice the numbers are already filled out for you, Isabella. You just put in your name, first name, and TSDS ID number, and log in. But I will respond back to your email. Okay, the balcony of an apartment is 4 feet by 7 feet. On a scale drawing of the apartment, the balcony, okay, now they're talking about scale drawing of the apartment. The balcony is 0.8 inch by 1.4 inch, right? Now they talk about another thing. They talk about kitchen. And the kitchen is 2.4 inches by 2.8 inches. So what are the actual dimensions of the kitchen? Let's see how we can set it up and solve this problem. So in this question, they gave you the balcony's dimensions, right? For example, I can say balcony's length to balcony's width, right? They gave you these. And they will make some comparison. Let's see. They gave you the actual dimensions of the balcony. The actual dimensions are 4 feet by 7 feet. 4 feet by 7 feet. These are the dimensions of the balcony. Actual dimensions. Then on a map, on a scale drawing, on a picture, because pictures cannot be in feet and cannot be so big in a picture of a scale drawing, the same balcony is being represented by 0.8 inches. by 1.4 inch, right? Because in the picture they cannot represent the actual thing, they gotta scale it, they made it smaller. So in the scale drawing, this is how they represent it. It is important for us to know what did they do to figure out the scale drawing from 4 to 0.8. What did they do? Did you notice what did they do? Anybody notice what did they do? Or from 7 to 1.4? What did they do? What did they multiply by? They're multiplying by 0.2. They're multiplying by a scale factor of 0.2 to generate the scale drawing. Right? This is the scale factor that they used. Now, on the other hand, they are talking about the kitchen. They're talking about the kitchen's length and kitchen's width. And they tell you that the model, the scale drawing for the kitchen, they tell you the model and the scale drawing for the kitchen is 2.4 by 2.8. And remember, the big size, the actual size of the kitchen is missing. The actual size of the kitchen is missing. You know, on the picture, the kitchen will be small. It's going to be 2.4 by 2.8. Does that give you enough information to figure out? Then what will be the actual length and actual width of the kitchen? Because I know I am multiplying from actual to the scale drawing, I am multiplying. Then from the scale drawing to actual, I will do the inverse. Rather than to multiply, this time I will divide. I will divide by 0.2. I will divide by the scale number, scale factor, right? And from 2.8 to this missing actual dimension, I will divide by 0.2. So question 3 was a little tricky question, I noticed, from among all other questions, right? And how do you divide 2.4 by 0.2? Honestly, nobody likes to handle decimals. What we can do is multiply 2.4 by 10 and think about 24. Then divide by, also multiply 0.2 by 10 and actually divide by 2. 0.2 times 10 is a 2. So basically you do 24 divided by 2. You get 12. So in this way, the actual length of the kitchen is going to be 12. The first blank, you can put in 12. Now the second one, you also want to figure out the width of the kitchen. For that, you're dividing 2.8 by 0.2. Again, 2.8 can become 28 if you times it by 10. 2.8 will become 28. Right? Move one decimal place over. And 0.2 will also become a 2. So 28 divided by 2. And it will give you 14. So if you talk about the actual kitchen is going to be 12 feet by 14 feet. That's how you figure it out. Are there any questions? The actual dimensions of the kitchen are 12 by 14. Does that make sense? Amaya, I see the details of your work. Well done. By the end of the semester, I'm going to go back to the Nearpods for all live ones, and I'm going to see who participated in which quizzes, and I can give extra credit on those quizzes, and that will also bump your final grade up. I'm not going to do in the middle of the semester then it will be just a lot of points here and there. But at the end of the semester, this is what I plan to do, because those of you who attend and also participate definitely deserve extra. Does anybody have questions? This question 3 is the one that is just going to be a little bit more extra work. But other than that, the other questions are quite one-step ones. So let's go ahead, move on and look at this one. This is the last variety of question 3. And I'm going to color code where information is matching. Harper's house is 30 feet wide and 45 feet long. Feet tells me it is actual dimensions. Now on a scale drawing, on a map, the house is going to be smaller. The house is just 4 inches wide and 6 feet long. I can go ahead and express this information, right? So for house, width to house length. House has a width of 30 and a length of 45, right? So width is 30 and length is 45. This is the ratio given to you, right? On the map, the house is going to be 4-inch wide, only 4, and it is going to be 6-inch long on the map. So let's think about what is the scale factor they're trying to use. What is the scale factor? From 30 to 4, it got smaller, right? That means they're dividing 30 by a number. Can you divide 30 by 4? It will tell you how much they're dividing by, right? If you divide 30 by 4, you see they divide by 7.5. So that the map is 7.5 times smaller. Same due to the length. If we are dividing 45 again by 7.5, we get 6. So we know the scale factor was 7.5. Now let's read further the question. The question says, Harper's room is 1.2 inch wide and 1.6 inch long. Now inches tell me that they're talking about the map. So let's write down about his bedroom. Bedroom's width to bedroom's length. Right? And they tell us that these actual dimensions are missing. But we know on the map, it is going to be 1.2 by 1.6. The map is given. How do I know map dimensions are given? Because they are inches and a real bedroom cannot be in inches. I want to figure out the actual dimensions. Remember, like before, I'm going to do the inverse. See, I'm moving in the other direction. So I'm moving in the other direction. Now I'm moving from 1.2 to the actual dimension. Rather than dividing by 7.5, I will multiply by 7.5. Right? When I do 1.2 times 7.5, I get an answer that is 9. If you want, you guys can also multiply and tell me how much do you guys get. So I figured out that the bedroom is going to be 9 feet wide. From 1.6 to this missing actual length, I will also multiply by 7.5. And when I multiplied by 7.5, I got an answer that was 12. So it is going to be 12 feet long. 9 by 12 will be the actual dimensions of the room. Very good, Nina. You also worked it out along with me. Very good, very good. Excellent. Are there any questions? So I know I solved the quiz before I'm teaching you, and I solved it just yesterday. Question 3 was the only challenge question because it is so multi-step. Other than that, question 4 and 5 are still again one step and quite simple. We will look at question 4. Question 4 is here, first variety. And the question says, Mason is building a scale model of a truck using the scale factor 6:54. All right? If someone is drawing a scale model, right? That means they are telling you the model, ratio of model to the ratio of actual. The ratio of model to the ratio of actual is going to be 5:64. This is how you express it as a fraction. It's going to be 5/64. This is what they're trying to tell you in the first sentence. We have not covered this topic in our general class yet. It is an upcoming topic, but this is how you will see, we will learn. Jordan, I received your email this morning, but because I was in live classes, I couldn't respond. Jordan, allow me a few minutes after this class, I will send you your TSDS ID number. Okay, Jordan? I cannot share with you right now because that Excel sheet is not open and I have to go over so many students' numbers. But I will send you right after this session. I received your email. So this is how you express the scale factor. Scale factor is 5:64. Model, if model is going to be 5, this 5 units represents 64 actual units. Right? 64 actual units. That's how you read it. So now they want to say the actual measurements of the truck are given in the table. So drag and drop the length of the scale model of the truck. So length of the model is going to be how much? The actual is given. They gave you actual, right? And what? They are talking about the length. From this table, there is a lot of extra information. The only relevant information is the length. If you want, you can scratch off the extra information. Width is not what we want. Height is not what we want. And the question just talks about length. And it is the actual length. So, where will I put the actual length? The actual length of 230? Where will I put it? Will I put in the numerator or the denominator?
At the bottom.
Very good, Nina. Why did you decide to put it in the denominator?
Because because actual at the bottom.
Excellent. Absolutely correct. And then the top number is missing. When I did this problem, I was thinking, okay, one of the very easy ways to handle this one was to do cross product. Multiply the two. 5 times 230. Right? Multiply the two. 5 times 230. Did anybody multiply 5 times 230? And then divide by 64. Multiply and then divide. Let's see. So we have 5 times 230. 1,150. Is that what you all got? 1,150. And then, last step, we will divide by 64. So then divide by 64. Everybody go divide by 64. Tell me how much do you guys get. And you can also tell me an approximated answer. So 1,150 then divide by 64. Yes, Nina, exactly right. You will get an answer that is going to be 17.9, 17.968, and all these higher numbers, right? You will notice that you can round it to 18. So 18 is the one that you should drag in the box, right? Then 18 is going to be the one that you should drag in the box. Students, when you complete a quiz, also make sure that the grade went into the gradebook. Sometimes the grade will not transfer. In that case, send me an email so I can fix it from my end. All those who are not doing quiz in one go, the quiz sometimes does not accept the grade. So if you see anything like that happen, let me know and I can fix the grade from my end. You don't have to redo the quiz. I'll fix it from my end. So here we have question 4, next variety. And question 4, second variety here says, Scarlett builds a scale model of a ship using the scale factor 3:32. Again, scale model is 3:32. That means ratio of model to actual is going to be 3:32. So Scarlett is going to use only 3 units on the map to represent an actual of 32. And that is very smart of her because she cannot draw some really big models, right? She'll just use 3 units to represent 32 units actual. The measurements of the model are given in this table. Again, they're referring to the ship's length, not the width and not the height. And dimensions of the model are given. This is the model. So where will I put the length of 17 inches? Will it go in the numerator or denominator?
On top?
Very good, Nina. Excellent.
Oh.
It is going to go in the top. Why? Because our model is at the top and they said dimensions of the model. That is why I put it at the top. That is why Nina also chose. Nina, you are very active-mindedly answering me. Very well done. Good. In this way, we will have this missing number over here that we should figure out. Again, the numbers just don't look so compatible and so nice, right? So in that case, easy way, do cross product. Multiply the two given numbers diagonally, right? So 17 times 32. 17 times 32. Tell me how much do you guys get? Then we divide by 3. 17 times 32. And it's Nina says we get 544. I also got 544. We divide 544 by 3. So divide by 3. Go ahead, everybody, set it up and divide by 3. Tell me how much do you guys get? 181. I agree to you. Nina, I agree to you. 181. That means the actual length of the ship is going to be 181. Right? Let's go ahead, move on, and look at the third variety of question 4. An engineer is building a model of a vehicle using the scale factor 2:23. Let's write down what does the scale factor mean. Scale factor means then the model to the actual is going to be 2:43. That means the person, the engineer is being so smart. He's going to just use 2 units to represent 43 actual units. So the model does not become too big. Then they're again talking about the length of the model, not the width, not the height. And notice They gave you the actual dimensions vehicle, right? So where will I put the actual length? The actual length is
Bottom.
100. Bottom. Very good, because it is actual 192. In this way, I will be able to figure out the length of the model. Again, numbers don't look so compatible when this is the case. Just use cross product, multiply the diagonal numbers. 2 times 192. How much do you guys get? 200 times 192. Let's see. Nina says 384. Yes, 384. Then divided by 43. 8.9. Nina already divided before I wrote it down. That was very fast. And divide by 43. The answer is going to be 8.9-ish. Drag and drop. Are there any questions before we move on? The next question is question 5. Question 5 is very simple. Just add up proportions and solve. Are there any questions before we move on? No questions? Let's go ahead and move on. And here we have question 5. Question 5, variety 1. And it reads, on a scale drawing of a museum, 2 water fountains are 10 inches apart. Now they're talking about the map. On a drawing, on a picture, the 2 fountains are 10 inches apart. Right? The actual distance between them is 400 feet. Right? Let's see what that means. We can start to write down. Model, or if you want, you can do scale drawing, or you can say model to actual. For this particular one, they want to say on the scale it is 10 inches. On the scale means on the model it is 10 inches, and these 10 inches were representing 400 feet actually. Then let's read further. On the same drawing, now I know they're talking about the drawing. The distance between the 2 exhibits is 3.125. On the drawing, the distance between the 2 exhibits is 3.125 on the model. What is the actual distance? See, the actual is missing. What is the actual distance between the 2 exhibits? There are so many different ways to do this one. Do you guys have any strategies that will work? The cross product will work all the time. If you don't want to give it much thought, it will work all the time. One very easy strategy. Yeah, go ahead.
400 times 3.125.
Yes, and then divide by
10.
Very good. Excellent. You can multiply the 2 and then divide by 10. Multiply by 400 and then divide by 10. So when you multiply by 400, how much do you get? 3.125 times 400. 3.125 times 400. You get 1,250 150. Then you may divide by 10. And dividing by 10 simply means when you divide by 10, if a number has a 0, if you just took away the 0, it gives you the answer. If the number had a 0, right? You take away the 0, it gives you the answer. So it's going to be 125 without really dividing. And the answer is going to be answer choice B, 125. Your answer choices might be shuffled. Make sure you are finding for 125. Ellie, what are you asking? Why means why I drop off the zeros? Like how you talk about tricks and techniques in all the different classes, right? This is a little trick and technique for dividing by 10. Ellie, it will work. If you did the long division, you will see the ultimate answer will be 125. So somebody long ago, they saw a pattern of dividing by 10. They always saw when a number is ending by 10 divided by 10, the zero kind of drops off. Ellie, that's why I talked about it. But if you do long division, you'll also see that's how it's gonna work. And if just for the sake of understanding, but if a number didn't have a zero, if a number didn't have a zero like 78, now it doesn't have a zero, but I'm dividing by 10. Guess what will happen? When you divide by 10, the digits stay the same, but guess what will happen? After division, I cannot drop off a zero, but someone figured out that you just add a decimal. Ali, this little extension, right? And same for 100. If you divide by 100, you drop off two zeros, or you move two decimal places to the left. Let's go ahead and move on. This is the second variety of question 5. The observation deck of the Willis Tower in Chicago is 412 meters above the ground. Okay, this is actual. The actual is 412 meters above the ground. On the scale drawing, this distance is 82.4 centimeters. So I have some matching information and I'm going to go set it up. I have the information about model to actual. And they want to tell you that on the model, it is going to be 82.4. On the scale drawing, right? On the scale drawing means on the model, it is going to be 82.4. When the actual building is going to be 412 meters. Let's see what else is given to us. So the actual height of a building itself is 422 meters. So what is the height of the scale drawing? The scale drawing's height is missing. When the actual height is going to be 442. Students, go ahead, work it out, and tell me how much do you guys get. See?
6,000.
Let's see. I think Nina multiplied the two. Nina, you multiplied 82.4 times 442.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's put a multiplication symbol. How much did you get? Everybody, try to multiply so we can verify the answer. Go ahead.
36.
1,000?
36,420.8.
Very good. That's what I also got, 420.8. And divide by 412. And divide by 412. Okay, here I think we have a mistake. have an answer in the chat from Nina. Nina says 88.4. Nina, you're right. Make sure don't check A, B, C, D, but check your numeric answer going to be 88.4. That is true. The numeric answer is going to be 88.4. Are there any questions? Let us know before we move on. Okay, then third variety of question 5 is going to be over here. This is the last and third variety. The distance between two parks on a map is 1.8 inches. They talk about the map, right? Is 1.8 inches. The actual distance between the two parks is 2 miles. This is some matching information and I can set it up. Map to actual. So it says on the map it is 1.8 inches. And actually the distance is 2 miles. I'm ignoring the units, but I'm only using the numbers, then I will still figure out the answer, right? Then let's read further. In the same city, the distance from the library to the post office is 0.8 mile. Is this the actual distance or is it the scale drawing? In the same city, yes?
Scale joint.
Okay, let's read again. Nina, it says, in the same city, the distance from the library to the post office is 0.8 miles. So when it's talking
Actual
about,
distance.
it's gonna be it's gonna be actual distance because they talk about miles, and miles is too big to put on models, so we'll say it is actual. And they didn't mention scale drawing, so it's actual. And then the scale drawing is missing. What is the distance between the library and the post office on the map? Right? So this on the map is missing. Yes, Amaya, that is what I was thinking. Amaya, yes, I did that. So here, let's see, we will cross multiply like diagonal numbers, the two given numbers, we can cross multiply. We see 1.8 and 0.8 can be multiplied. Everybody multiply that. How much do you guys get? 1.8. Nina says 1.44. Can you guys verify? 1.44. And then divide by 2. And then divide by 2. 0.72. That is correct. 0.72 inches. That is correct. This marks the end of the quiz. If you wanted help with question 1, question 2, or question 3, variety 1, your tutorial video is in yesterday's what do you call it, open office. So if you watch that video from yesterday, you will get answers to those. I also posted the link to that one in your gradebook already. I will post the recording to this one in the gradebook as soon as I end the session. This marks the end of the session. If there are no further questions, we'll see one another next week. Next week is interim assessments. Make sure you are present. Make sure you take your reading assessment at 9 and then Tuesday math assessment at 9. It is for a grade. It is going to give you 10 bonus points added to your gradebook for free for participating, right? Make sure you attend. Thank you for joining.